Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Faulty Doctor, and today I am bringing you a free-for-all with the Org Masterkey on Hanoi, which in my opinion is the worst map in the game. And obviously for the worst map in the game, I was going to be using the worst gun in the game, but thankfully for me, I was playing some of the worst players in the game as well, so it didn't go too badly after all. But I thought it would be pretty funny to use some weird guns, and with the weird guns, you know, obviously the sort of first choices that people are going to go to are things like the Scorpion, but I thought I'd take it to just using an attachment. I was considering the noob tube. You know, it's an underbarrel gun, it's pretty hard to use, obviously, especially in Modern Warfare 2. That was one of the sort of only the elite could use the noob tube in Modern Warfare 2. And if you guys didn't know, noob is the new slang word for pro, which is I guess why people who use the noob tubes were so good at the game with such high KDs all the time. But, you know, there I just sort of direct impact that guy. Pretty funny. And, this gameplay isn't the longest free-for-all I've ever had, but it's pretty drawn out, obviously, because I'm using low kill streaks and terrible guns. Well, a terrible attachment on a half-decent gun. And, a lot of people have been thinking that as soon as they patch the FAMAS, people are going to be using the AUG because the stats are almost identical. And, you know, I think that the AUG is overpowered, especially used like what I'm doing here with the Masterkey attachment. I think that's a pretty overpowered class right there, so, you know, I'd watch out if I were you. It's not Ghost and Silencers anymore, it's the AUG with the Masterkey. So, you know, just a little heads up for you people that actually like watch my videos for tips. I don't know why you would, I'm not very good at the game particularly. But, you know, hopefully I can give you guys a little heads up about this overpowered gun. And I saw that Claymore, but I still just completely forgot about it when I walked around the corner. But, yeah, the grenades get me quite a few kills in this game as well. I don't know why I just pointed that out then. But that's really enough about the gameplay. I've spent more time in this commentary talking about the gameplay than I normally would, but that's obviously because it's a pretty unique gameplay for today. So I thought, as well as the gameplay, I'd find something else interesting to talk about. And today that is going to be something that happened to me at school, or that happened to one of my mates at school today, which was kind of weird and almost scary in a way. Basically, I'll get into the details in a minute, but one of my mates had like a fit in school, or like a seizure, or something really strange like that. I'm not really sure what exactly happened, but basically I'll start from the beginning. He comes up at the beginning of the day. He's just been to the sort of corner shop round near the school, and he's got this massive sort of 2-litre bottle of Coke, and he says that he doesn't really want it, and I offer to obviously buy it off him because he was going to just like sell it to me for like no money at all really. So I'm like, alright, decent, I've got a cheap deal on some Coke, and I'm always thirsty, so whatever. So he says, fine, just let me have a sort of sip of it first, and then I'll like give it to you. And we're like, right, fair enough, it's like your drink at the end of the day, but whatever. And he takes like 2 big gulps of this Coke. He freshly opened it as well, there wasn't anything weird in it or whatever. So he like freshly opens this bottle of Coke that like hadn't been tampered with. That's the only reason I point it out, in case someone like says that someone might have put something in it or whatever. But I don't know, just like weird suggestions. I should have killed that guy, but whatever. So he takes 2 massive gulps of the Coke, and then he sort of, his face goes blank, and he just like sort of grabs his chest like and passes me the bottle. So he's there just like sort of, he starts staggering around, just clutching at his chest, and I'm thinking like, obviously this is pretty weird. He's like a regular sort of normal guy. He's not exactly someone that's going to be like, he doesn't normally, I've never seen anyone have this kind of reaction to anything, especially just like a bottle of drink. And by the time he starts staggering around, I've already had some of the Coke as well. So I'm starting to think, well, what if there was something in it, and now we're both going to start sort of acting weird. And I'm sort of like, I'm sticking around him, I've got my eye on him, because, you know, I'm still thinking he's acting pretty strange. And he sort of drags it on so far that it's obvious that he's not sort of joking around, because he's been sort of mumbling and sort of like staggering about for the like sort of best part of 5 minutes. So he's clearly not like joking around about it. He's like seriously starting to worry me a little bit. And he sits on this bench in I guess in like my school. He just sits on the bench. That guy sucks. I don't know what he was camping there for, but give him a cheeky tea bag. So my mate, he ends up sort of sitting on the back of this bench, and he's sort of got his head like just staring straight at the floor, and he's like really pale and everything, and he's ginger, so he's pale anyway. Like, not to be like harsh to him, because it's whatever, not to be harsh to him, but he's ginger, so he's like normally pale, but he was like especially pale for some reason. And all of a sudden he just collapsed off the back of the bench and went like face first onto the concrete. And like he's clearly not joking around, because if he was like trying to have a laugh, he'd obviously like stop himself and make it look bad. Like, he wasn't. He just completely just passed out, and when like smashed his forehead straight on the concrete, like his arms were like stiff right by his sides. And like I don't know, he told me afterwards that he just blacked out and he couldn't remember anything. And it was really weird, because he's on the ground and he's like completely rigid, and all of a sudden his muscles just start twitching and spasming, and like all of a sudden he like sort of gets up onto his knees, and he's like kneeling there, but his face is still on the ground, and for whatever reason he can't lift his head up, and he's just sort of sitting there in this really awkward position with his sort of arse in the air, sort of knees on the ground and face like pressed to the floor, and he's just sort of sitting there and his eyes are wide open. And that was like the freakiest bit, that he was just sort of sitting there staring blankly. And like now he's obviously drawing a crowd, because everyone's like, oh, what the hell's going on with him? He's like acting really strange, and his muscles start like spasming out, and he's like, he sort of ends up shuffling around on the floor for a bit. And it's not an epileptic fit. He wasn't like thrashing about horribly. He was just sort of twitching around a lot. And like obviously an epileptic fit is really serious, but I don't know what he had, because he sort of got up from it and was telling everyone, like, he was just acting normal. He's like, well, where am I? I don't know what's happened. It's as if he'd woken up or something. So like I sort of assume he's okay, because he's saying he's alright. But I take him to like the reception of my school anyway, and like I'm like, well, you've got a head injury. If anything, you can get a day off now. You might as well. And he's like, no, I genuinely feel alright. So, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have any ideas what could have happened to him. I just thought it was a really sort of strange thing, and maybe one of you guys has seen something similar before, and you could sort of help me out with what actually happened to him. But I don't know, I just thought that would be a little interesting story for you guys. Maybe some more real life stories to come if you want, but anyway, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a nice day.